My great friend and one of the best in the business, Mr. Doug Billings, right side with Doug Billings, right side with Doug Billings. Doug is the future of the airwaves when it comes to independent broadcasters and podcasters. He is the new Rush Limbaugh. He's exactly what America needs right now, looking for honesty, looking for wisdom, looking for truth, looking for patriotism. Listen to Doug Billings at Right Side with Doug Billings. God bless you and God bless America, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are winning. We're winning, winning, winning. Welcome to the Right Side with Doug Billings. Are you ready?
We are not liberal snowflakes who melt away in the face of tragedy, adversity, and challenge. We are a covenant nation under God, and His divine providence is not dead and it's not gone. It is living within each and every one of you. And you will bring it to life in such a way that the world has never seen before. We never back down. We never give up. We march forward.
Everybody, welcome to the Right Side. Doug Billings here, coming to you from smack dab in the middle of the fruited plain of the United States of America, talking about the state of play in this country. And if you're watching this live right now on X or on Rumble or Facebook or YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe or follow me on those platforms so that you will always have access to this program and the truth that it brings you. All of those platforms, X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook. Please make sure. My website, DougBillings.us, Spreely TV, the good folks over at worldofyoutube.com. All of these platforms are there. You can access the truth. And when you go to DougBillings.us, as we always often and frequently ask you to do, prayerfully consider, please, a recurring monthly donation so that I can continue to bring you the truth that this show represents. It's not clickbait. It's not conspiracy. It's the truth. And we're going to talk a little bit today about the clickbait machine that is out there, because there's far too many influencers on the right side who just engage in nonsense and put anything forth just to get a click. So this has always been a pet peeve of mine. I've noticed it ever since I started the show back in 2020. So we're going to talk about that. Also going to talk about primarily how nobody in America really wants Kamala, and what you're seeing is fake enthusiasm. Again, these people on the radical left and their hierarchy and their minions in the media, they gather together, they have meetings, they have Facebook meetings, they have Zoom calls, they have Skype calls, and they try to decide what they're going to spin on any given day or any given week. Well, nobody likes Kamala. What are we going to do? Well, we've got to put her in there. We can't. We've painted ourselves into this DEI corner. We can't back out of it. There's no escape. We've hired this woman of color. By the way, folks, she's not black. Would you get off that bandwagon? All of you people out there, hey, the first black woman, she's not black. As far as I know, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Indian mother and a Jamaican father. All right. So let's get away from that nonsense as well. Nobody likes her. Nobody liked her in 2020. Nobody likes her today. She cannot win this election. This does not mean we become complacent. We don't become lackadaisical in our approach, but we're going to start pointing out what the radical left is doing. And today, nothing of substance coming from the radical left, nothing from the talking heads on the legacy media, nothing of any substance from social media influencers and podcasters, nothing. So, look, today, over the last couple of days, I should say, a lot of posts about, where's Biden? Is Joe alive? We haven't seen him in 5 or 6 days. All of those are legitimate questions. Where was he? What was he doing? But let me tell you something. There are some kooks out there, and they have plagued our conservative movement of truth and legitimacy since the end of the 2020 election. Joe Biden is alive. All right, ladies, he is not in hospice. He's not on his deathbed. He did not have some sort of a debilitating medical emergency. All of these things that have been said for clickbait, people that are saying it, ladies and gentlemen, they want nothing more than your click because it earns them money. They want only that. They don't have any interest, apparently, in the truth. It's all speculation, wild speculation, rumor, and nonsense. So we don't invest in that over here. I'm not going to mention anybody by name, but you can pretty much guess, I think, who's out there saying this nonsense. Let's play. I think, Reagan, we've got a clip. Joe Biden today, ladies and gentlemen, getting on boarding Air Force One. Let's play that clip number one.
Hey, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling since you dropped out of the race, sir?
How are you feeling about Harris?
Can Harris beat Trump?
Okay. So there he is, looking pretty much the same, right? He has COVID. He's got his little mask in his hand, which has nothing to do about your health, by the way. The mask is part of political signaling. It's part of the uniform of the new Communist Socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party. So he's got his mask, gets on the plane. It's the same feeble-looking Joe that we've all known since he began the occupancy, the selection of the White House in 2020. So I am irritated with the clickbait and this absurd nonsense that has been thrust upon us. They don't have any interest in the truth. It's all about them. It's all about getting followers, all about getting numbers and so forth. It's like the spirit of Jerry Springer all of a sudden reborn in multiple dozen platforms and podcasters over the last few weeks. And there's a wide swath of people who are making money. Not that that's a bad thing. Look, I'm a big fan of capitalism. I believe that God invented capitalism to fuel this republic that he inspired the founding fathers to create. I'm all about making as much money as you possibly can. But I'm also about making money within the realm of reality and within the realms of honesty and truth. What bothers me is that people are making a living based on clicks that are based on lies, misinformation, misdirection, nonsense. It's about attention getting. So there's there's dangers surrounding all of this too. The cooks, or the reason that these people put these things out there, money, narcissism, the need for attention, whatever it may be, it does a huge disservice to the rest of us within the movement who pursue the truth. And I understand, because I'm one of them. I understand how people can evolve from a place of not knowing and being asleep to a place of knowing and of being awake. I can get it. I've gone through that evolution myself, because I remember back to the days right after the 2020 presidential election. There were podcasters and social media influencers out there who would, and many of them, by the way, have large followings of people who would say such nonsense like, President Trump is still the president. Don't worry. President Trump is still calling the shots. Or the military is running our country. Don't fear. The military is in charge. We've got this the National Guard in various states operating maneuvers, keeping a check and balance on all the black hats. Oh, and then the white hats. When folks begin to talk about white hats and black hats, you know that you're on the cusp of Kookville. Joe Biden can't get on Air Force One. Remember that one? They're not letting him fly on Marine One. He's not really the president. Now, you've never heard me, unless I've slipped up, I never refer to Joe Biden as president. It's always Administrator Biden. I, of course, believe, like you, that the election was stolen. But to deny the fact that he's not occupying that office. Hillary Clinton is in Gitmo. Remember that one? That was a doozy. Or she's been executed. The real Joe Biden died years ago. Remember that? How about, another one, devolution. The theory of devolution. Let's get really whacked out and talk about how President Trump wrote these executive orders that will usher him back upon chariots of fire, back into the White House, back into the Oval Office, because of the theory of devolution. It's a kook theory. It's very well written in a work of fiction, be a great book, but it's fiction. And yet millions of people read it, liked it, followed it, and become complacent. All of the Q nonsense. Oh, my God. Hey, Q said in 1999 that Biden was going to eat a ham sandwich. Oh, look, he's eating a ham sandwich today. That's about the essence of the 17th letter of the alphabet. It's nonsense. Joe Biden had a medical emergency. Joe Biden's in hospice care. He's on his deathbed. He's not going to survive the night. It's nonsense. It does absolutely no good. In fact, it takes wide numbers of people who are seduced by the nonsense off of the battlefield. The military's in charge. President Trump is still in control. I guess I don't have anything to worry about. I'll just let that play out and eat my popcorn and watch the movie. Another phrase which absolutely, this is not a movie. This is real life. And comments and commentators and podcasters and influencers who continually put forth the nonsense are a great harm to the movement. People become complacent. They don't get involved in their local levels of government and action. We need action. We've better be worried, because this republic is in the hands of a radical coalition, liberal, immoral movement. And we're on the cusp of, if we don't get involved and take action, of losing it. So it's okay to wonder, is Joe Biden alive? That's a perfectly legitimate question. But to get out there and post, I've got sources, and he's had this medical emergency, and he's not going to be coming back. He's in hospice. He's not going to make it through the night. There are news organizations on X and other platforms putting that kind of nonsense out there. It's okay to wonder. It's okay to ask questions about where he is he alive, and so forth. Those are great questions, and they need to be asked. But to put forth the other stuff and to claim that it's some sort of sign or semblance of reputable journalism, Joe Biden's had a stroke, Joe Biden's on his deathbed, that's not reputable journalism. If they had proof of that, if they had video, they had doctors' reports, if they had anything, well, the police in Las Vegas said that Air Force One was diverted. Well, fine. But was it really about a medical emergency? I don't see it. So those of you who have watched my program, and I'm going to give a little of my testimony about myself, because I was once asleep. I wasn't fully awake. I was not the shining example of intellectual maturity that you see now before you, ladies and gentlemen. I am here with you now. I had, if you go back and you look at my show in the early 2020, when I was starting, I had guests on my show that I look back on and I go, wow, I was really asleep. Why? Because, you start out, I was from corporate America. I was trying to build an audience, trying to figure out what is the truth. So I have a great deal of empathy for people who might not know the truth and who fall prey to these podcasters who know the truth, but yet still continuously put forth purposeful misinformation or outright lies. So, for example, to be specific with you, I had once upon a time on my show back in the early 2020s, I had Charlie Ward on my show a few times. Okay, a great guy, nice guy, nothing at all against him personally. But the things that he would say, he was on my show once and he said the real Joe Biden was executed 3 years ago or several years ago for war crimes. Well, I can't have Charlie on my show again after that, because it's not the truth. That is an abject that's a lie. It's just not true. And I have nothing against Charlie Ward personally, but I have a show and I don't have any integrity, and I don't earn the trust of you good people if I provide intellectually immature and inaccurate or untruthful analysis about the state of play in America and news and politics around the world. I lose it all if I'm not truthful and honest with you. Another guest I had on early on who has a huge, vast following is Simon Parks. Now, look, I happen to like Simon a lot. Simon and I had a friendly banter when he was on my show. I never let the conversation go into kookville. We never went down the rabbit hole of kookdom, okay? But we had a friendly banter back and forth. Now, he hasn't been on my show since 2021. Not because I dislike him, not because I have anything personally against him, but I need to have people on and talk about truth and what's real. And so I gently remind everybody, clickbait exists. Be careful, and beware. Beware. So because there's been so much nonsensical clickbait out there lately, otherwise reasonable people, I'm afraid some people, maybe even in this audience, have been seduced by the ridiculous speculation, rumors, and fake journalism that's been put forth. So I think it's completely clear that we true American conservatives, we stand shoulder to shoulder with one another first, we the people, but also with the pillars of truth, honor, and dignity. We've got to stand for those pillars of our party. Otherwise, we are lost. We can dig for the truth. We can ask questions without putting forth ridiculous speculation, without misinformation. and all of the things that compromise clickbait. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you like me and if you like the show and if you like having access to the truth, DougBillings.us is where I need you to go. Prayerfully consider over there donating and setting up a monthly reoccurring donation. If you like me, if you like the truth, if you like the program, DougBillings.us. There it is right there. Look at that. You can go set up any amount you want for a monthly recurring donation. It's how I make a living. It's how I engage in capitalism. And most importantly, it's how I continue to be able to produce this show, which I always give to you for free. I'll be right back after this break, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with me. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that you could change the trajectory of your aging process? Look and feel better, live younger, be more active, less pain when you move around, sleep better, diminish the lines and the wrinkles on your face? Really? This is what I'm telling you. It's possible. You see, low stem cell activity happens when we get older. And it could be causing many of the health problems that some people have in the world today. Because as we get older, we have less stem cell activity, which means we age faster and we heal slower. The secret is a clinically proven and patented phototherapy non-transdermal patch, whose technology is the result of over 90 clinical studies and over 20 years of research. Your healthier life can begin today, and you can discover true age reversal. Age reversal, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to liveyoungerwithdoug.us. Liveyoungerwithdoug.us, ladies and gentlemen. Get over there today. Or if you'd like, text my name, Doug, to 41372. Doug, text it, 41372. And get over to liveyoungerwithdoug.us. Get younger, feel younger. I'm doing it. I'm wearing this patch. I feel great. And so will you. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
I want to tell you about the good people over at EMP Shield, electromagnetic pulse, ladies and gentlemen. It can fry your home electrical system or your vehicle's electrical system. But if you attach one of these, now this is for your breaker box at home. There's a smaller version that goes on your battery of your car, your vehicle, that will prevent it from being fried in the event of an electromagnetic pulse. Because as you know, thanks to Administrator Biden, many people coming across the border now who don't exactly have the best of intentions. Protect yourself. EMPshield.com. Get huge discounts over there if you use the promo code Doug.
Doug Billings, driving the left crazy with the truth.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being with me out there. I appreciate you more than you know. You're the most important people in the room, as I say. We looking at the items that we have to discuss now in the realm of reality. So we're going to leave my soapbox of clickbait and all of the nonsense that it represents behind. Now we're going to focus on reality. And the reality is that Joe Biden is alive and he's functioning. And something else that concerns me, though, is all of a sudden, a lot of people on the right all of a sudden demanding all this new cascade of these calls for Joe, you got to step down and resign. Oh, my God, if Joe can't run for president, he can't be president. We've got to invoke the 25th Amendment. Hang on, folks. Hang on. Wait a minute. We've known this. We've known that Joe hasn't been running the show since 2020. We've known that Joe can't run for president. We know that he can't officially execute the office of presidency. But heck no, I do not want him to step down. No. Let him finish his term. We've got 6 months until President Trump is sworn in again. We have 5 months until the election, 4 months until the election. And I don't know about you, but I can't bear the thought, because if Joe steps down from the presidency, that leaves us with Vice Pretender Harris becoming Administrator Harris. I can't stand the thought. I can't stomach the thought of having that woman occupy the White House, to be the first woman to occupy the White House. Not her, please. So let Susan Rice and let Barack Obama finish the term with Biden, just as they're doing. Biden is a lame duck president. Susan Rice has an office in the West Wing anyway. Barack Obama has been running the puppet show since 2020. Let them continue. Let them finish their 4 to 5 months. Stay alive, Joe. Stay alive. Can't handle President Harris. I can't stand the thought of it. So push back, my friends, on any conservative who's calling for the invocation of the 25th Amendment against Administrator Biden. Let him finish the term. He hasn't been running the show since the beginning of the show. Tell them to cool their jets. Tell them to relax. God, I mean, Kamala has been despised, when you think about it, by the majority of people within her own party. She's to the left of Bernie Sanders. The only reason she was selected for the job, for the role of vice president, was because she's a woman and because she's not white. Those are the only two qualifying items that were chosen. Joe Biden made it clear. He said it out loud. I'm only going to choose a black female. Now, for the record, she's not black. So feel free to point this out to all of the people you see online claiming, we want to have our first black female president. Well, it's not going to be Kamala because she's not black, ladies and gentlemen. Well, she's as are many decent, wonderful people in this country of mixed race. Why does the black side get to claim? It's like when Patrick Mahomes was in the Super Bowl. I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. The first black quarterback to do this, and wait a minute, he's half white. Why does the black side get to win? Why can't we just say something? Why can't we say he was white? See what I mean? We can't, because the other side will absolutely go bat-ass crazy if we do that. And people out there don't want to have that. They don't want to have the wrath of the left come down upon them. So they give in. And so, again, can you tell that some of these things and the behaviors of people, when you hear them long enough, they get under your skin, they get on your nerves. We have to stand for what's true. And you can't, it's the reason, because they want to coddle to the black vote. She's black, so she's not black, but they're going to claim that she is. They're going to claim all of a sudden she's the most brilliant and obvious choice that they could have had put into this role. They couldn't stand her in 2020. She never won any of the debates for the 2020 presidential or the 2016 presidential election. She never won any of the debates for anything that she's ever been. She, in fact, hasn't earned any vote of the people in any presidential race that she's been in. She's not smart. She's not articulate. And the radical left have painted themselves into this DEI corner with her from which they can't escape. Oh, we want a woman of color out in the race. Well, we can't take her out now that we put her in. That's completely against one of the key pillars of our platform. Advance people of color at all costs and before, even if they're not qualified, that of white people. We can't have it. We can't promote or include anybody else. That's our policy. That's our platform. That's part of our politics. We're going to sacrifice capability and ability for appearance, for gender, and race. People know. And the majority of people don't like it. DEI is a losing proposition in the eyes of the vast majority of Americans. So I can tell you right now, and this week I'm going to work on laying my hands on a montage of these same people that are today saying Kamala's the obvious and best choice, who just 4 to 5 years ago were saying she was the absolute worst choice. She cannot, and of course, the radical left, you see it on social media today, the prosecutor versus the felon and all this. Okay, because Kamala used to be a prosecutor. Now, keep in mind, she locked up black people for marijuana charges, kept them in prison and jail for the use of cheap labor, and she let out violent rapists and other criminals early it's the textbook approach to prosecution of any liberal. Give them light sentences if they're sentenced at all, and then let them out early. That's why we see rampant crime and violent crime in this country. 8 out of 10 of the mass shootings in America were caused by people who were in jail just a week or two prior on, guess it, gun charges. And they let them out early. They do not prosecute with extreme prejudice, and that's a problem. And it leads to the death and injury of millions of innocent people. So the radical left, setting it all up. They can't talk about policy, platform, politics, because those three things have absolutely crippled and destroyed America. They're going to set things up, things that they are trying to implement within our republic, things that are part of their platform. All right, things that are part of their policy. We don't hear about them, but that's what they're cooking up right now. They're going to try to figure out a way to spin the border. They're going to try to figure out a way to spin Kamala Harris's lack of involvement in the role of vice pretender. She didn't go to the border. She was put in charge of immigration. She didn't go down there. She turned the vice presidency into a job of absenteeism. You don't even have to be present to do this job. Members of the radical liberal hierarchy, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, members of the squad, all hold their own views. And they've got this plan for America. And it's the plan that most of you have heard about. You know what I'm about to say. It's no secret. But they follow this man, Saul Alinsky, like he was some sort of a prophet or a spiritual advisor, and they have a plan being put in place. That's why they're skeptical. That's the wrong word. They're hesitant to talk about their platform, their policies, and their politics, because they all revolve around fundamentally transforming America away from the divine providence of God and away from the intent of the founding fathers. Now, Saul Alinsky, 99% of you out there have heard the name before. He wrote the book Rules for Radicals. Now, he's been dead since 1972, but his influence lives on in the lives of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, members of the squad, and so forth, Kamala Harris. What he called for are the things that we're seeing being implemented by members of this radical communist-socialist, formerly known as Democrat, party. The reason for this, we heard Barack Obama say it, the reason that they're implementing these avenues and platforms, policies, and politics of chaos is because of what Barack Obama said about 6 to 8 years ago. We need to fundamentally transform America. We think in those words, we need to fundamentally transform America. He wasn't talking about fundamentally transforming some of the problems that we're having in society today. He wasn't talking about fundamentally transforming relationships between people within the republic. He was talking about fundamentally transforming America away from the divine providence of God and the intent of the founding fathers. I'm going to pick it up right there. I'm going to give you specific policies, platforms, and politics that the radical left are putting forth upon us and that they're not talking about. But before I do that, DougBillings.us, ladies and gentlemen, again, prayerfully reminding you to head over to my website, DougBillings.us. You can wait until after the show. You don't want to miss becoming part of America's most intellectually mature audience. So hang on, but here you go. There it is, DougBillings.us. Prayerfully consider, please, setting up a recurring monthly donation to the program so that I can continue to bring it to you. You are the only way I can do it, my friends. I don't get money for clickbait. I don't get money from big tech. I've been canceled from YouTube. We're rebuilding over there. So that's how we do it. DougBillings.us. Hang with me, ladies and gentlemen, and I promise you, be right back after this short break. Cheers.
Doug Billings, reminding you that conservatives are better looking than liberals.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Right Side with Doug Billings now upon you, and we meet over here. Determined prayer, determined patriotism. Determined patriotism is the hard work of it all. It's staying in tune with the truth, staying away from the clickbait, and understanding who brings you the truth. So we look at what's going on. The radical left Communist Socialist Party, as I call them, formerly known as Democrats. There are no more Democrats, ladies and gentlemen, in the elected class, especially in Washington, D.C. The blending of communism and socialism is apparent, and it is complete. They've done it. They are not a pro-America political party. They are not putting forth pro-American candidates for offices across the republic, including the presidency and vice presidency. The reason for this is because we heard Barack Obama say several years ago that they all believe that America needs to be fundamentally transformed away from God, away from the intent of our founding fathers. And by that, you see evidence of it all the time. They want to destroy the Supreme Court. They want to get rid of the Electoral College. They want to fundamentally transform the country, the republic, away from all of its founding origins. So they want to transform America into a democracy. Democracies, my friends, are ruled by the mob, and the mob is therefore and thereby controlled by the radical elites within the party structure. If you're a student of history, and if you're honest, and if you're intellectually mature, you know full well and you understand that the American founding fathers had specific and vigorous debates about America not becoming a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. We have a Republican form of government, and radical liberals will not say those words out loud. They will not refer to America as a republic because, after all, that word is the root word of Republican. We can't have that. We can't go around claiming that we've got a Republican form of government when the Republicans are the opposition party. We are the Democrats. We stand for democracy. They're wrong. Since their inception, they've been wrong about the direction, about the birth, and the intent of this republic. Republics are ruled by we the people. And so that's where we have to begin. We have to begin with that understanding. You'll see them all over the place, never referring to us as a republic, going out of their way to say, Trump is a threat to our democracy. Look at Doug Billings. Did you watch that show? He is a threat to our democracy. We're not a democracy. We are a republic. It's playing out right in front of us, as like it's a live civics lesson going on right in front of us, especially what they've done to Biden. We saw the radical left hierarchy, the elites of the party, select, ladies and gentlemen. They selected a person who was put forth without any vote of any kind from the people, the person who they want to be their nominee for president. This is not the essence of a republic. This is the essence of a democracy, which is exactly what the left wants. A republic, again, equals the voice of the people. A democracy equals the voice of the mob as governed by the elites. Oh, they'll tell you what to think, and they'll let you know what you can't say. If you're the mob in a democracy, the elites will make sure that you're not stepping out of line. Now, there are rational, decent, patriotic, and intellectually mature people who belong to the Communist Socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party. People who are absolutely infuriated with what that party is doing. And they're infuriated that they were not given a chance to vote or decide between a variety of candidates. They're infuriated that Kamala Harris was simply forced upon them. She was selected for them. And that's why that side and those people are taking a deep breath and they're reconsidering their support. They're pulling back, either by virtue of canceling their donations or removing themselves from membership of that party, and they're coming over to the right side. Because look at what you're seeing yesterday, today, the past week or so. Ever since Joe stepped down and Kamala has been now put forth, they have not been able to talk about policies, platform, or politics. It's worth repeating, and it's worth knowing, because all of those things, all of the Communist Socialist, formerly known as Democrat policies, all of their politics, and everything within their platform are anti-American. That's why the only posts that we've seen on social media from the radical left, again, as I said at the beginning of the program, a fake enthusiasm for Kamala Harris and the age of Donald Trump. And keep in mind that conservatives never made age by itself an issue with regards to Joe Biden. What we did was to make issue of his obvious lack of cognitive ability. Didn't matter how old he is. And so the policies, the platforms, and the politics of the radical left and their mob are silenced because they have to figure out how do they spin the chaos that we've seen over the last 4 years into something better or improved than what it really is. And so what they do is they begin to take Saul Alinsky and what he recommended, and they put it into practice because they know they can't stand for truth. They know that they don't have anything to stand on with regards to how they have made America better. They can lie and they can mix lies with the truth, which they do often and daily. But based on this man, Saul Alinsky, and his spiritual-like guidance among the radical left, tell me if you've noticed. Item number 1, the control of health care. If you control health care, you can control the people. Hey, come on into the country, Mr. and Mrs. Illegal Immigrant, and we'll give you free health care. Item number 2, increase the poverty level, because we've got to get that as high as we can. Make people as poor as possible, because poor people are easier to control, and they won't fight back if you give them everything they need to live. Hey, by the way, we're going to give you free food and free housing. All we ask is that you fill out this box of ballots and drop it off to the guy over there in the white van. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Item number 3, let's increase the debt to an unsustainable level. That way you're able to increase taxes. And when you increase taxes, you create more poverty. Brilliant. That's the radical left item number 3. Number 4, remove the ability for people to defend themselves. Defend themselves from what? The government. Gun control. That's what we need. The way that you're able to create a police state, take away the people's ability to defend themselves. Item number 5, welfare. Take control of every aspect of the lives of the citizens of the country that we're talking about. Take control of food, not only its consumption, but its production, and make it synthetic. And let's buy up farmland so that traditional beef and pork and other meats can't be raised, and we can limit them and control them. Oh, and let's control housing and income levels. How do we do that? Well, let's invite millions of illegals over. Let's give them free housing. Let's say that they don't need to have an income, that we'll subsidize everything they're trying to do. And again, if they vote for us, they'll get all of this for free. So they do want the illegals coming over to be part of their new electoral base. And by the way, a subcomponent of that is the dilution of the American identity, which is part of the fundamental transformation of America that Barack Obama was talking about. We dilute the American spirit. We dilute American exceptionalism and the American identity with millions upon millions of people coming into the country. 7, religion. Remove the belief in God from all government and school organizations. Now, remember Louisiana putting the 10 Commandments in every public school? It's going to be challenged. We all know that. See, the liberals can't have any sign or semblance of God in the classroom. Never mind that the founding fathers all wanted it so. And item number 8, class warfare. Let's divide the people into the wealthy people and to the poor people. So this will cause more discontent. Yes, indeed. And it causes fear and anxiety. It'll also give us the ability to convince people to tax the wealthy because they're so blatantly not being taxed hard enough. It's not fair. We'll earn the support of the poor at the same time that we hold them down. We'll give them entitlements which don't free them, but enslave them. It's as plain as day if we would take a step back and look at it. And that's the beauty of waking up, because millions upon millions of people throughout this republic are doing exactly that. They are waking up to this nightmare, and they're saying no to the radical liberal coalition of immorality that thrusts these ideas upon the nation. So I've just listed 8 items that all come from Saul Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals. Sound familiar? It should, because that's exactly, these 8 items and more are exactly what Kamala Harris and her Communist Socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party, stand for. It's exactly what Kamala Harris wants to implement. The fundamental transformation of America away from the divine providence of God and the intent of the founding fathers. She is more radical than Bernie Sanders. And that's why they're not talking about their platform, their policies, or their politics. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with me. I will be right back. Take a great trip, will you, into the land of capitalism. Stay with me. I'll be back. Cheers.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Would you like to gain access to over 20 years of my radio shows, TV shows, my books? I've written 15 books, and most of those books are ebooks now. And we have conference DVDs, conferences where we filmed our conferences at the Ozarks, literally starting 20 years ago. It's all available in our archived vault. All you have to do is go to worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and for a reasonable monthly fee, you gain access to over 20 years of Christian worldview programming, news, information, books, documentaries, and a powerful search engine. And folks, it's a great way not only to educate yourself, equip yourself, but it's a big way that you can help fund our continuation as a broadcast network. Please check it out. worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and help us continue pushing out a Christian worldview.
twc.health/Brandon. This is one of our sponsors, has been now for a few years. Here it is. You just go there. If you use that URL, folks, you not only save money, but our program gets credit, which helps us keep doing great shows like this for free and pushing them out. twc.health/Brandon. Look up here at the top of the page where it says Med Kits. Go down there to the one that says Contagion Emergency Kit. Contagion Emergency Kit. That's the one you want, right, Dr. McCullough?
Right. That's going to cover bird flu. Just you start on day one. I think all the animal workers, people in rural areas need to have these. You can't wait around for the pharmacist. If you start early, that comes with telemedicine. We can intensify the antivirals, get other drugs going. Very affordable. Join through Brandon's website. Join as a member, because we're working on ways to replace the used drugs, and you have to be a member to get that advantage.
The Right Side with Doug Billings, where we meet in determined prayer and determined patriotism.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thank you very much for standing with me shoulder to shoulder. A kind reminder that wherever you're watching the program, YouTube, please subscribe to me over on YouTube at Doug Billings, a real Doug Billings over there, and subscribe on Facebook if you haven't already, Rumble, on X. You can follow us. You can watch on worldofyoutube.com. You can watch on Spreely TV, a number of different places. And all I ask is that you subscribe and follow so that we can continue to get the truth out to you. It's very, very important. So we're today taking a look at the truth behind Kamala. We're looking at this through the lens of reality, not through the lens of Kookville, not through clickbait, and not through any kind of other jackassery, right? We're looking at this through truth. Now, they don't talk about politics, platform, or policy because what they've done to the country, what their policies and their platform and their politics have brought us is nothing but chaos, purposeful chaos. No borders. These are the things that Kamala Harris stood for when she was running for president in 2016, when she was going through the debate process during that time frame, and what she still believes today. So this week is all about deflection, the fake enthusiasm for Kamala Harris. She's the one we've always wanted. And the age of President Trump. Those are the two talking points that you're noticing this week. Okay. Never mind that Kamala was never the person they wanted. They're painted into this DEI corner that they can't escape from. And never mind that we conservatives never made age just for and by itself. We never made age the issue. We always made mental ability or mental disability the issue. Bring it on if that's all you want to talk about, because what they're up against is the most iconic president in the history of this republic. And the assassination attempt, along with the lawfare that they have waged against him, have created a kind of political martyr in President Trump. The most, as Mark Zuckerberg said, we saw him in a clip yesterday. The most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. That's from Mark Zuckerberg. When he gets shot in the face, he stands up with his fist in the air, the American flag there in the background. That is the most iconic picture of a president in our history. Now, the radical left is up against all of that. So this week, while they're trying to figure out what they're going to say about their politics, policies, and platform, it's all a rah, go Kamala show. But let's keep in mind what Kamala has always advocated, what she's always been in favor of. There's a list. We could talk for a whole hour or more. No borders. She has never been in favor of the borders. She always has advocated for open borders into this republic. And why is it? Well, there's two key reasons. There's many reasons, but two key reasons. Number one is that they want these people, these illegals, coming in here to be part of their new electoral base. And they're doing everything they can to capture the majority in the House and the Senate so that they can begin to pass legislation that will legalize the ability for illegal immigrants, non-citizens, to vote in our elections. It's happening. That's what they're after. So, of course, they want open borders. And the second reason is, no less important, is they want these millions upon millions of people to dilute the identity and the exceptionalism of America herself. It's happened in the UK. It's happened in Germany, Spain, and France. So many illegals coming into that country, they have no sense of national pride or national identity any longer. And so they want that here as well. More chaos, the better, because remember, frightened people are easily controlled. Give them free stuff. Once they're frightened, remember COVID? Not that long ago. Hey, we know you're frightened. We're going to shut down and wreck the economy. We're going to mandate the masks and the shutdowns of your businesses and your economies. The wreckage of America was precisely because of the politics, platform, and policies of the radical left. And they did it because they knew it would frighten you. And then they began to offer you free things, especially money, to stay home. Don't worry about it. Stay home and just keep on drinking your adult beverages on your front porch. And don't worry about work. We got your back. And so we took out trillions of dollars of our budget to dispense to people to keep them home and from not working. And to this very day, certain industries in this country, especially the hospitality industry has not fully recovered from that nonsense and that purposeful chaos. So no borders. Kamala is all for it, and she always has been. Also, the non-prosecution of violent criminals. And when I say non-prosecution, I mean that Kamala and those like her, liberal attorneys, liberal prosecutors, liberal states attorneys and attorneys general, will not prosecute with extreme prejudice these violent criminals that plague our streets because they want them out early, folks. Evidence of the obvious is sufficient. What other conclusions can we draw? They don't sentence them with extreme prejudice. And if they are in the off chance sentenced at all, it's very short and reduced sentences. And oftentimes, 8 out of 10 times, they're let out early to go back and wreak more havoc on society. I can show you evidence that of all of the mass shootings we have in this country that are tragic no matter when they happen, the perpetrator, the person that did the shooting, 8 times out of 10 was in custody just a few weeks to a month earlier on gun charges. But they're released and they go out and they shoot up people. You see, it's not a gun problem. It's a non-enforcement of current laws already on the books problem. So she didn't do that. She let criminals out early. She imprisoned black men who were guilty of smoking marijuana, but she let out the rapists and she let out the murderers. That's part of the stuff that she's not talking about today. And the radical left who have her back aren't bringing it up. Medicare for all is another one. Let's just give Medicare to everybody. Free health care. Come on, let's do it for everybody. Debt. Nobody should have any debt. Nobody should have to be responsible, gosh forbid, to have to work and provide for a way to pay back the debt that they incurred. We're just going to take care of it for you. Student debt, that's peanuts. We're going to forgive all of your debt. That's Kamala Harris. Abortion. For whatever reason, the Conservative Party is beginning to shy away a little bit from this issue. We shouldn't. It is a winner for us. This is a winning issue for us. We can win if we rebrand our approach. Take care of women, take care of the children, and hold men accountable to the role of fatherhood. Now, Kamala Harris wants to reinstate Roe v. Wade. She wants a federal mandate that will allow abortion. That's against our Constitution. Now, I know they don't care about that, but that's against the Constitution. And Roe was overturned precisely because the states are supposed to be the entity that decide whether or not within their borders abortion will be allowed or not. And so President Trump is rightly so saying, hey, look, no federal mandate. That would be just as wrong as putting forth a federal allowance for abortion. And ladies and gentlemen, if you believe that God inspired the creation of this republic, and if you believe that God inspired the founding fathers to write our founding documents, we have to give God the benefit of the doubt, because within our Constitution, it says the states are responsible for such issues as abortion. So we have got to do the work of determined patriotism, getting involved in our local levels and electing officials that will prevent abortion in our states. It's going to be a long and hard job, but that's what the Constitution demands, and the Constitution was inspired by God. So we have got to do the will of God by following what he inspired within the words and the framework of the Constitution. That excludes a federal mandate that would allow or outlaw abortion. We've got to begin to wrap our heads around that truth. Please do join me, ladies and gentlemen, every day, Monday through Friday, right here, 5 to 6 Central Time on the website, DougBillings.us. I invite you to go over there, please. Prayerfully consider a monthly recurring donation to the program so I can continue to bring it to you. I never charge you for this show. So prayerfully consider what this show is worth to you and head over to DougBillings.us and set up a monthly recurring donation for me. I would appreciate it very much. We are in this together, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it. For the Republic. Until next time, cheers.